7 and our topic is all about critical literacy. So critical literacy is the ability to analyze and evaluate text, media, and information critically. It goes beyond understanding the surface meaning and encourage reader to question the purpose, perspective, and power dynamic behind the content. Sa madaling salita, tinutulungan tayo nitong mag-isip ng mas malalim tungkol sa kung paano na i-impluensahan ng wika at impormasyon ng ating pananaw at desisyon. At mahalaga din ito sa modernong panahon dahil sa dami ng impormasyon o disinformasyon na nakikita o naririnig natin sa araw-araw. At halimbawa, kapag nagbabasa ka ng balita tungkol sa climate change, hindi mo dapat basta-basta paniniwalaan ang impormasyon na iyon, kundi dapat mo munang alamin kung sino ang sumulat, ano ang layunin, at kung may bias ba o may sinusulong na interest. So that's it. So for your better understand the content of our topic, my next member will continue explaining.
Hello everyone, my name is Christine May S. Dodong and I am Group 7, BE Ed 1 Afternoon Session. And now, let's discuss about history of critical literacy theory. Critical literacy is grounded in Freudian pedagogy. When you ask me who is Freudian pedagogy is the philosopher of critical literacy, and now, Freudian pedagogy is the belief that teaching should challenging learners examine power structure and pattern of equality within their status. Okay, now, naniniwala si Freudian pedagogy is ang pagtuturo daw ay parang nag-challenge lang sa mga estudyante. Like tayo, ito ang gagawin natin na report tayo and then i-post natin sa YouTube. So, yan yung halimbawa, yan yung paniniwala or halimbawa dito. Freudian pedagogy. That is challenge sa ating mga estudyante. So, tama yung sinasabi niya. Okay. Next one is, in the year 1987, Freudian and Macedo agree that those who are critical literacy can understand not only how meaning is socialized, constructed within the text, but in also the political and economic context created and embedded. So, okay, now, by Freudian and Macedo, sinasabi nilang dalawa na tayong mga estudyante, alam na natin kung paano magbasa or magsulat. Sabi nila, hindi lang daw hanggang doon yung pinag-aralan natin, hindi lang daw hanggang doon yung alam natin. So, dapat alam natin about sa ating mga political and paano magtakbo yung mga political, especially yan, political and economic, especially ang political kasi yan yung about sa bansa natin. Sabi nila, dapat daw alam natin kung paano, kung ano ang mga ginagawa ng ating like president natin, kung ano ang mga ginagawa niya dito sa ating bansa, dapat alam din natin yun, especially, sabi dito, especially sa ating political and economic. Dapat daw intindihin din natin yun, understand. Okay, next one is Blackshear and McLaren state that literacy is more complex than the traditional define skill, reading and writing, and they identify three forms of educational. What is the three forms of educational? First one is varying by their commitment to inquiry and action. Example, tayong mga estudyante na gusto natin mataas yung mga grado natin. So, what will you do to get that? Para makuha mo yung mataas na grado na yan. So, you should take action. What action you will take? So, mag-study ka, mag-review ka about sa mga topics natin. Next one is liberal education. Liberal education means is yung may disiplina ka sa sarili mo, may respeto ka sa iba, at kasi may freedom tayo gagawin yun eh. May freedom tayo to apply to ourselves or to apply sa ating sarili na gawin yun sa ibang tao. So that is the example of liberal education. One is pluralism and transformative practice. So example, kapag nag-study tayo, dito alam natin ito. So ang sabi dito is i-highlighter daw yung mga words na importante. So na-apply na natin yung sa sarili natin. Example, pag nag-study ko tayo, yung mga reviewer, yung paper reviewers natin, di ba, gina-highlighter natin yung mga importance doon dahil yun yung pagkakaalam natin na yun yung maglabas sa exam dahil importante yun eh. This is, yun yung ginawa natin noon is example sa number 3. Next one is, in the 2001, pinalabas itong ESA and NCLB. What is the ESA means? ESA means is Elementary and Secondary Act, and number 2 is NCLB, meaning is No Child Left Behind Act. Thank you very much sa inyong cooperation, and hanggang dito na lang yung ating topic, or yes, thank you very much sa pagkikinig.
Good day, I'm Shelby Sigapo and I'm going to talk about critical literacy and the arts. So let's understand what is critical literacy and the arts. So critical literacy and the arts is the creation of artistic products by an individual and the perception or rejection of others' artworks showcase the power of critical literacies at work within arts context. So critical literacy and the arts is not just about analyzing text, but also about understanding how art connects to culture, identity, and social systems. Art, whether in the form of paintings, music, or films, reflects and shapes our worldviews, often conveying powerful messages about history, social issues, and personal identity. Ayon kay Luke 2000, ang pangunahing layunin ng critical literacy ay dalawa. So number 1 ay allow students to see how texts work, to construct their worlds, their cultures, and their identities in powerful, often overtly ideological ways. Pinapayagan tayo nitong makita kung paano binubuo ng sining ang ating mga mundo, kultura at pagkakakilanlan sa mga parang madalas na naglalaman ng ideolohiya. Halimbawa, ang isang painting o pelikula ay maaaring maghatid ng mensahe tungkol sa mga pagpapahalaga ng lipunan at sa pamamagitan ng pagsusuri dito, mas mauunawaan natin ang epekto nito sa ating pananaw. And the second one, understand how they use text as social tools in ways that allow for a reconstruction of these same worlds. So, tinutulungan tayo nitong maunawaan kung paano ang sining ay maaaring magamit bilang kasangkapan para sa pagbabago sa lipunan. Halimbawa, ang sining ng protesta o mga awit ng aktivista ay hindi lamang pagpapahayag ng emosyon, pinapalakas nila ang mga laban sa hindi makatarungang sistema at nagtutulak para sa pagbabago. The arts, literacies, and reality are dynamically linked in the understanding attained by critically reading aesthetic text involves perceiving the relationship between the art, its creator, and its context. The arts, literacies, and reality are deeply interconnected. By critically reading aesthetic text, we begin to perceive the relationship between art, its creator, and the context in which it was created. This understanding allows us to read the world more effectively and even work towards rewriting it in a way that better represents our interests and aspirations. According to Longshire and McLaren 1993 suggests critical literacy in the arts makes it possible not only to understand the world but also to transform it into a more fair and human place for everyone. Thus, critical literacy in the arts is essential for recognizing how art shapes our perceptions of in the world and empower us to make a positive impact on society.
According to Fribody and Luke, develop a four-tried approach to early reading that has now widely adopted across Australian schools. These approaches are not necessary but not sufficient set of social practice requisite for critical literacy. A recent version of model offered the following description. First is coding practices. Coding practices is develop resources as a code baker. Sa coding practice is dito is how do I crack the text, how does it works, what are the patterns and convention, how do the sounds and marks related signly in the combination. Pangalawa, text meaning practices. Text meaning practices is develop resources as a text participant. In the text meaning practices is how do the ideas presented in the text string together, and what cultural resources can be brought bear on the text. What are the cultural meaning and possible reading that can be constructed from the text. Pragmatic practices, developing resources as a text user. In pragmatic practices is how did the use of this text shape its composition. How do I do of this text here and now? And what will others do with it? What are my option and alternative?
So hello everyone, now we will talk about the textual analysis. So what is a textual analysis? Textual analysis is a broad term for various research methods used to describe, interpret, and understanding text. So example ani is naka isa ka research or isa ka story, kailangan natin siya i-analyze through para mabala nato kung unsa iyang purpose, mabala nato kung kinsay author or mabala nato kung siya i-publish. So additionally, textual analysis can be guided by asking the learners to make their systematically through a list of questions. So another approach for analyzing text is to use checklists such as CARS, C-A-R-S. So C is for credibility, A for accuracy, R for reasonableness, and S to support. So now we will talk about the credibility. Credibility is evidence of authenticity is very important. So tests that help the reader judge the credibility of a text include examining the author's credentials and the quality of content. So, ang credibility daw ay ang katibayan ng otoridad, ang pagiging mahasan at napaghalaga na tumutulong sa mambabasa na husgahan ang kredibilidad ng teksto kasama ang pagsuri sa mga kredensyal na may akda at kalidad ng nilalaman. So, sa madaling salita, dito kailangan mo malaman ang background ng isang author, kung bakit niya ito ginawa or ano ang purpose na sa kanyang ginawa. So now we will talk about the accuracy. So accuracy is information needs to be up to date, factual, detailed, exact, and comprehensive. So things to bear in mind when judging accuracy includes the timeliness, and comprehensiveness. So ang accuracy daw is ang impormasyon ay kailangan na papanahon, makatotohanan, detalyado, eksakto, at komprehensibo. Dapat natandaan sa panghusga sa katupakan ang kinakailangan ng mga timeline at pagiging komprehensibo. Kaya dapat tayo maging maingat na tandaan ang kailangan nilikha ang impormasyon bago magpasya kung ito ay mahalaga pa din.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, ma'am. I'm going to refer reasonableness as a sign within the growth. So another tools used to systematically evaluate the quality and reliability of information and text or online sources in using CARS checklist. CARS is an acronym for C, reliability, A, accuracy, R, reasonableness, and S, supports. So reasonableness is evaluate the whether the contents is fair, objective, and logical. Wherein we need to look for a neural tone, logical argument, and acknowledgement of alternative perspective, and avoid the source that we over opinion or one-sided. So, example, if I find an article online about climate change and apply reasonableness, I will ensure the article discusses with multiple perspective and avoid sensation claims. So, in applying CART checklist in evaluating the history of critical literacy theory is the theory that text maintaining natural academic tone, presenting multiple perspective like liberal education, pluralism, transformative taxes. So without all this bias, the text meets criteria effectively with the reasonableness of high rating because it presents balance and logical arguments. So that's all. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and good afternoon, ma'am. I am Helen B. Santan, and this is my report. The title is Support. Supporting evidence in reporting. Supporting evidence is strengthen a writer argument, enhancing credibility and authenticity. This involves citing credible sources to validate clients, demonstrating objectivity and expertise. Support for the writer's argument from other sources strengthens their credibility. It can take various from such a writing, biography, and reference. And corporation, it is a good idea to triangulate information, that is to find at least 3 texts that agree. If other texts do not agree, for their releases into the range of opinion or disagreement. Ang suporta mula sa ibang mapagkatiwalaang sanggunian ay nagpapalakas sa kredibilidad ng isang.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Angel Sasin, and this is my report. Text clustering. Text clustering involves confronting students with texts, which obviously contradict each other. The task is to use whatever evidence they can find to try to make judgments about where the truth actually lies. So, text clustering. Text clustering is when teachers give students different pieces of writing that say opposite things. For example, one text might say the sky is always blue, and another might say it can be gray or cloudy. Students then look at the information of each text and try to figure out which one is more accurate or closer to the truth. In short, text clustering helps students how to analyze different texts, compare their information, and decide what they believe is true, according to the evidence they gather. So, ang text clustering ay isang paraan ng pagpapangkat ng mga magkakatulad na teksto batay sa kanilang nilalaman o kahulugan. Kung may maraming mga dokumento o pangungusap, inaayos nito ang mga ito sa iba't ibang grupo na kung saan ang bawat grupo ay may magkakatulad o may kaugnayan sa isa't isa.